George, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Hmm, Let's see. Okay, hang on. I gotta figure out why I can't hear you. Hmm. I think you can hear me. I just can't hear you. I'm not a good lip reader either. Let's see if we get off these. Yeah, I can't hear you at all. I tried. I still couldn't hear you. Even though I can't hear you. Got it. Okay. Well, hello, everybody. Sorry about the reflection on my glasses. So, my story, I have almost been on the system 90 days. Prior to starting, I was, for 16 years, I've been dealing with sleep issues, high cholesterol. Gosh, there's like a laundry list of things: arthritis, joint pain, tinnitus, and anxiety, depression, PTSD. Menopausal belly. I have dealt with love handles because I turned 50 and menopause blessed me. So took me about 6 months before I started. And my girlfriend had turned me onto the system because she wanted me to feel better. So when I started, I was a little skeptical. You know, I heard the word insulin resistance and I said, insulin, that's for diabetics. As I progressed and followed the system, with the help of my doctor, I am off of my statin for my high cholesterol. I am off my anxiety and depression medicine, which was Effexor, which is one of those that's funny. You got to slowly edge off. Doctor signed off on both of those, and then I stopped taking Lunesta. Doctor also signed off on that. I have more energy. I can actually fall asleep for the first time in years. I have so much energy. I feel like I'm in my 20s. Again, I'm 50. Very proud to be alive at 50. I cannot say enough good things. I have reframed the way I look at food. I've reframed how I eat food. I used to, let me tell you, George, I used to eat carbs as the starter. Happy, sad, mad, glad, you name it, any feeling, stress, no stress, straight to the carbs. I also used to drink a pot of coffee a day with a bunch of creamer, and I no longer do that. I can go on walks with my little old dog and not feel joint pain. I don't ache. I can do squats. I never was a fan of squats, but I can do them. So that is huge for me. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. I'm going to see if I can work on this volume thing while you continue to talk. Because I still haven't figured out why I can't hear you. Oh, as a caregiver. I currently take care of my mother and my father. My father has been put on 2 Alzheimer's medications, has not been diagnosed with Alzheimer's or dementia. Mom has cognitive decline, which is a little bit more advanced for somebody in their late 70s. It is a daunting and exhausting moment that I'm in on this journey. I wish there wasn't so much repetition. 5 minutes goes by. Why did so and so call me on the phone? When's my appointment? My doctor said this. No, no, no. Your doctor really said this. This is why I go to the appointments, why I schedule the appointments. There's a lot of denial on the side of my parents, which makes me unbelievably sad, because they don't realize that they're forgetting. And it's hard to see your parents deteriorate in front of your eyes. And here comes all my emotions. Get ready. It's very heartbreaking. My grandmother actually had Alzheimer's, and lived with my grandfather and would just walk out the front door. She'd put in a paper bag. She'd put like a piece of fruit and something else, and just go on a walk. And unfortunately, she also suffered from severe migraines. So much, they were so debilitating. I remember her sitting in the wheelchair in the nursing home, and she was going like this. And she was just this little 5 foot tall lady. Mood transformed. She thought my 6 foot tall uncle, her son, was a terrorist and was trying to shove him out the window. I mean, little old sweet grandma is trying to shove this grown man out a window. If I would have known then what I know now, I would know she would not have suffered. Her privilege to be and make decisions for herself was taken away from her. I don't wish it on anybody. Which is why, for me, I walk in honor of my grandma. I'm doing a walk in November for her. As you can see, I'm kind of passionate about it. My biggest fear is that my mother was actually going to. I thought it was something that could be inherited, and I know that in some cases there is a little bit of genetics in there somewhere. Thank you, George. Yes, my walk is on my page. I'm on my Facebook page, so feel free to jump on my Facebook page, friend me, make a donation to help me and so many millions of people end Alzheimer's. It is a wicked, wicked, wicked disease that, and as you know, and as you have gone through yourselves, it's so unbelievably painful to watch as your loved one just deteriorates in front of you. I was 14 at the time when she passed away. And if I would have known these things, insulin resistance in my teen years, I would have, this is what we're doing, Grandma. This is how we're going to handle life. So I don't know if that helps, George, if I've said enough. I just know that I am so grateful for the system that I'm on in order to help myself and hopefully help other people.
Can you hear it now?
Yes, I can.
Oh, goodness gracious, Mother of mercy, all things big and small. Can you hear it now? I hear like Verizon guy. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I'm going to see if Andy, I'm going to see. Go ahead and keep talking, hon. I'm going to just no one. I'm going to back you up so you can tell the stories. Nobody knows what you said. I think they heard you though, Jennifer. I'm going to check with that.
Yes.
Okay. This is a picture of me and my twin sister, identical. We were probably 5 years old there. I'm on the right. Sharon's on the left. My name's Cheryl. My mom named her Sharon. She did not know she was having twins until she had me. I was firstborn. An hour later, she had my sister. So my name, Cheryl, starts with an S, and most of them start with a C. But she did the Cheryl because she named my sister Sharon.
Okay. All right.
This is a beautiful 8th grade picture.
They did hear you, Jennifer, so we're good there.
Well, thank you.
So you can scroll by that one really quick.
Oh, you don't like that?
No, I don't. This was at a wedding. As you can see, Sharon's on the left, I'm on the right. It just seemed that we would always go to that particular side in all pictures we have. This one was taken, I don't know if it was a special birthday. I don't remember. And we were dressed alike, and her kids had bought her top, and my kids had bought me my top, but we did not know that we had those tops and that we both had it. So we had our picture taken in them. This was, okay, my twin, Sharon's on the right that time. I'm on the left, but the photographer did that. Okay, this was taken in, she was 54 years old. This was taken in the spring. She was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at age 54. And we had all these pictures taken, and I'm so glad we have them. I can see in this picture, her eyes look deeper, more shallow. And that was because of the disease. And it was total shock when she was diagnosed, because that's the last thing we expected. And the first diagnosis was depression. And they put her on depression meds, and that didn't help. Her husband said, told the doctor, why don't we take her up to Mayo? And that's where she was diagnosed. And the day she was diagnosed, I was with her. And I asked the doctor, I said, well, what are we looking at here as far as time? And he said, well, she could be in a nursing home in 3 years. Well, actually, she was in nursing home in 4 years. She could not function at all, and she was starting to get some violence. You know, they do that sometimes, and that's normal. Combative. She never did with me. She did knock her husband down on the floor of the closet one day. She jumped on his back, and he is a big guy. For some reason, they get strength. I don't know. They really do. And so we had to put her in the nursing home because her husband could not take care of her anymore. And she was there a year, and then she passed at the age of 61. So when we look back on things that she was doing, it started before probably 2 years before she was diagnosed. They were building a house, and my sister they build many houses, and she was the general contractor. She was responsible about getting fixtures and stuff, plumbing, stuff like that. And she would forget things. Her family noticed it before I did because they were with her every day. And when you're not with them every day, sometimes you don't see things. But I did see something. It was before she was diagnosed. We'd gone to a wedding in Florida. It was for her stepson. And we were walking on the beach, and it was just me and her, and there was someone else with us, but I can't remember. And she was lagging back behind, And I thought that was really unusual for her to do that, because she'd be upright with us, and she's lagging behind. And she just didn't have any self-confidence. She had lost her. And she was actually the more self-confident one of the two of us. But she just didn't have any self-confidence anymore. And so that's kind of when I really, really started seeing it. But then it just gradually got worse. And we went to, we were very involved with the Alzheimer's Association. I know what you mean with the walks. We were very involved with those too. And the local chapter asked if we would go to Washington, D.C. for the convention and do a speech. And I agreed to that. And as I sat down to write the speech before we left home, I hated speech class in high school. I hated it. And for some reason, the words just flowed. It just, I don't even remember how long the speech was. It had to be half an hour, 45 minutes. It just flowed. And so we went there, and she could not really deal with luggage or anything at that point. And I was just so scared, because I had never flown by myself at that point. And then trying to take care of her, she got stopped in security at the airport, of course. And she's in front of me. And the gal that took her, I said, I kind of stepped through and I said, you can't take her. I said, you have to leave her here. I said, she's got Alzheimer's. She won't understand. And so she was nice enough to wait until I got through, and then she checked her and everything, and it was fine. But that was kind of scary, because I thought, God, if she get out of my sight, I don't know what happened. And so she needed help dressing at that point and putting clothing together. But she did ask me before we went, she said, will you, because she gained weight, and she said, would you go and shopping with me and help me pick out clothes? And she was so happy that day. She knew she looked great, and she was so happy. And that's the last time we ever could do that. I don't know. It was a hard thing to go through, as you know. It doesn't get easier the more it progresses. It gets harder. She had a 19-year-old daughter. It was very hard on her. But I knew the day she was going to die. Being that close, I knew. The last time I fed her at the nursing home was on a New Year's Day. And she was starting to choke, and I stopped. I said, I can't do this, because I don't want her to asphyxiate. And so I went, and that was on a Monday. No, it was on a Sunday, actually. I went back on Tuesday. I walked in the room. The hospice nurse had just taken her out of the shower and put her pajamas on. And I said, she's not breathing right. And so the hospice nurse called the nurse at the nursing home, and she took check her vitals. And she said, you better call family. So I did. But I knew my sister was going to die on Saturday, and she did. I stayed around the clock with her. Her daughter and I stayed around the clock with her. I slept in the same bed with her. But I knew the day she was going to die. It's just that twin thing. It's just like, I always say, when I lost her, I lost half of my whole. And I did. But she died peacefully, It was horrible seeing her at the last. She didn't have a clue what was going on. Didn't have a clue.
Yep. And then for myself, because everybody on here, we all have family that's Alzheimer's. Jennifer, your grandma, your mom, your dad, now Cheryl's identical twin. We're going to talk about that as well. And this is my mom, our mom. And when I say our mom, there's 10 of us kids. There's 5 boys and 5 girls. I'm the oldest. I'm the patriarch. That's a picture of my dad. My dad weighed 120 pounds if you gave him 80 pounds of rocks. And we used to actually play catch with my dad in the kitchen. We toss him around literally like a bag of noodles. And he just go, wee, wee, wee. And he died now. What I know of would have also been insulin-resistant cancer, the edema carcinoma, which is, again, based on insulin resistance. That was 35 years ago. Mom is 96 currently and lives in her own home, knows us all, and we are blessed to be able to have her in her own home, blessed to be able to have her with us. We have a niece that's our boots on the ground 24/7. We have respite for her twice a week. We have hospice coming in at least twice a week. So we have that. And then of the 10 of us, well, you live in 8 different states, and we're blessed that everybody gets in, a month, comes in for some period of time. So we share that around. So we're blessed to have her, and we're blessed to have a family unit that works. But she's got a 5-generation family. See, there's mom, and she's the matriarch. She outlived all of her brothers and everybody else. And then there's 10 of us. And then there's over 100 on the next line. And then, 35, it's 1, 10, 35, well over 100, and then about a dozen. So she's got 10 generations. And my goal is to be able to I have 4. My goal is to have 5. I want to be the first male to have a 5-generation family. And the protocol has allowed me to be alive. And we'll talk about that later. But I believe just like you all, we all believe if we had known what we know now about insulin resistance, and even if someone has the gene, the double gene, the ABE405, whatever the code number is, even if you have both genes, the pair, it's still preventable or maintainable by using the protocol in the modern day food environment. And if someone has it with the protocol, it is improvable. They've proven that now with Dr. Bredenson is just came out with a study that it is preventable. And then Dr. Sanderson just came out with another study that it's also or preventable and reversible. So we've got both of those going on. And in Dr. Fung's book, page 29 refers to insulin resistance and Alzheimer's. In Dr. Lustig's book, his book, he talks about it at a lot. And then you add Dr. Benjamin Bickman's book. Okay, we talk about how it is, why we get sick, and it all comes back to insulin resistance. It really does. So it can be preventable, it can be reversible, but it does take changes. It has changes. And sometimes people won't do those changes. They won't do them. Okay, it doesn't really matter. They won't. Or they're incapable. But it doesn't mean that it's not available. And for Cheryl to have an identical twin with it, she's able, so you can say genetic, but really? Identical genetic. It's not just familial, it's genetic. Now you have children, at least one that's had that knows has the propensity for the genetic. But is it preventable? Yes. At least I know now. I know that you have no desire to do the genetic, do you?
After my sister got her disease, I would have people say, well, are you afraid to get it? And I said, well, yes. And it used to kind of irk me when people do that. Of course. Aren't you afraid to get it? I said, but if there was at that time, there was no test to take to see if if you were going to get it. Well, just because you have a gene doesn't mean you're going to get it. I said if there was a test that I could take to tell me whether or not I was going to get it, I wouldn't take it because I'm not going to live in fear the rest of my life. That's all I would think about. Every time you forget something, okay, something's going on, because I'm going to be 80 years old. Yeah, I do forget certain things.
What?
And I'm a cougar.
You go, girl.
But he picked me. I didn't even know, and he picked me.
Anyways, you were talking about genetics and tests. Got off
So I wouldn't take the test anyway. So I want to ask you though one thing. Why did they put your dad on meds? Because they haven't diagnosed him.
His PCM has decided, because I've seen over the last 2 years an increase in forgetfulness.
Okay.
Like I said, if he's on a phone call, he hangs up the phone, you ask him what was said, he's like, I don't know.
Yeah, but the meds don't really do anything, do they?
No.
If we found that every new med would come out, we'd be so hopeful, and it didn't do anything. Nothing.
No.
I actually had a doctor took my husband passed. When I say husband, my husband passed 12 years ago. And I was lucky to find this guy. Don't get too cocky there. So
you guys crack me up.
I forget what I was saying.
Oh, you forgot what you were saying? Oh, I think that's a smell. I got to make a noise.
What was I talking about?
You're talking about.
You were talking about how the meds don't seem to help.
Gary and meds.
Well, no. Every time a med would come out, would change. It would be so hopeful, but it just didn't do anything. Oh, I know. My husband's mother was diagnosed with dementia, and we were with her the day she was diagnosed, and the doctor said he was going to put her on meds. And I said, speaking from experience, I said, those meds don't even work. Oh, that made him so cotton picking mad. I just, they don't do anything.
They don't. And yes, I went in with the hope when they changed one, and now he's on 2.
Right.
And I was like, okay.
I know.
And this before I knew what I knew.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
So. Yeah. And anyone that listens on this conversation, one of the things we encourage you to do is any medication that they're going to prescribe to your loved ones or yourself, before you start swallowing that blindly, especially when we're caregivers, go look online to the pdr.net. Go to pdr.net. It used to be a book that was on my dad's desk in the clinic. He had the clinic in the house. I remember it. And it was blue. Sometimes it was green. Sometimes it was red. I remember different colors each year was a little bit. And he had the PDR, which stands for Physician's Desk Reference. And it has every medication and indication and formulas, and then also any warnings. Now they're called box warnings. That's the word they use in there, box warnings. I call it black box warnings because it literally can put you in the black box. And look at the box warnings that are on there, and then consider whether you even want to take it or want to have your loved one take it. And really, what will it do? Does it have, what can it do? What will it do? Well, it's kind of shown okay. And if it does nothing, it does nothing. And the most medications in this genre don't. They're pretty much experimental. They really are pretty much experimental. They got the latest. Okay, what's the clinical research behind it? How many studies have they done on it? What's the long-term effect on it? And does it actually, first off, do this. I'm not a doctor. I didn't even play one on a TV show last night, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Select, so I can't play any of those roles. But the idea is that, first off, make sure that you check their metabolic health. Make sure that you go and have them look at not just a fasting blood glucose. You can fake that sucker out. And how do I know? Because, well, I'm not dead. My fasting blood glucose a year ago, at her encouragement, I went and had my blood work done. So I did. Otherwise, she wouldn't be here.
You wouldn't be here.
And I wouldn't be here either. But my fasting blood glucose was 834, which is clinical emergency treatments necessary immediately. And my A1C was 18.1 on top of it. So that's where my nickname maple syrup came about. Because I didn't have blood in it. I had maple syrup. And on this protocol that we're talking about, this patented protocol, just 2 T's and another fiber matrix, I lowered my fasting blood glucose from 834 to 90 in 107 days on this protocol. And my A1C went from 18.1 to 7.2. While it's still diabetic, it's a meteoric fall because the HbA1c is a exponential calculation. It's not a stepper. So, but the point is, have them checked for their insulin resistance score. To do that, if whoever's your doctor, who's ever the doctor of who you're giving care to, or if it's yourself, have them do an insulin test. And most will refuse to do that. Most will say that, well, we don't do it, we can't do it. And you want a fasting insulin. If they don't do it, consider somebody else. Go get it done elsewhere. And or there's a ratio that you can use to track your insulin sensitivity that we want to know, and that's your triglycerides divided by your HDL. Take your triglycerides divided by your HDL and plot that out. And if it's above 4, there you go. There's that, girl, right there. Calculate your own insulin resistance score. Perfect. Triglycerides divided by HDL. Guys, that is what you really need to know, especially of your loved ones, because if they are insulin resistant, now we strongly, beyond any recognition, the protocol. Get on the protocol because it will lower that. And that increases the blood flow, the cleanliness of blood flow to your brain. Because what happens is glycation, or really your brain rust with too much sugar, too much high glucose all the time, snack. And God love people that sometimes get this condition. They just want to eat all day long. They're just chipmunks. They're just now, true, if they stop eating, we're really in a problem. But 2 times a day, 3 times a day, fine. No snacks. Don't let them drink calories. You get that? You get them on the protocol. You get them on these teas, they won't be hungry. They won't be hungry. They'll be satisfied going through the day, right? I mean, it's hard to get you to eat sometimes, isn't it? Now she's 80. And
no, not yet.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Couple months. Anyway, so she's 79, for those of you that don't use Chinese years. And at 79, she has a lean muscle mass of 50% and a body fat of 5. A 92-pound frame. She's got no issues with blood sugar or anything like that, but she uses the protocol as just a preventative, because she's a twin And the twin did develop Alzheimer's and died. Identical twins. Now, she doesn't know if she has the markers, but she's an identical twin. And what we might think about is what caused it. Well, she wasn't overweight or anything at all. But you do have the whole idea of cortisol and stress. Sleep, cortisol, stress plays into insulin resistance, which then does the same combination. So not necessarily diabetic, because everybody wants to think diabetes. Blood sugar, insulin resistance, cortisol, rusting on your brain cells and your nervous system, that glycation, that's really what we're talking about.
She did have a lot of stress in her life at different times. She did. More so than I did, actually.
And so that's really, when we start talking about the whole issue of the disease, the condition, the one thing I hope we want to make sure everybody has is that there is hope. Okay, it's not a, oh my gosh, I'm going to get it because mom, dad, whatever had it. No, they did. And there's all other kinds of contributing factors to it that we can get into. And Jennifer is Cheryl went to Washington, D.C. and spoke and been in different walks. And Jennifer has an event. Jennifer, tell us about your event that you're sponsoring or you're kind of sponsoring down there. And where is it? And when is it?
It is on November 9th.
That's my birthday.
Everything comes together as it should, George.
Oh, it's my birthday.
And you know I am your biggest fan.
I know.
Okay. I met this man at a convention, and I was like a fangirl. Like out of control fangirl, as he's like, okay, girl. Okay,
Dr. Kenny's jealous, just so you know.
You know what? Something about you drew me in. I wanted to listen to every word, even if you weren't talking to me. Okay. So I am doing the Walk to End Alzheimer's in Boca Raton, Florida on the 9th of November in honor and in memory of my grandmother, Helen Robinson. If you do go to my Facebook page, I do have a link on there. I'm collecting donations to go towards this walk for them to continue their research. Wouldn't it be amazing if I could get some people on board, maybe to help the progress here a little bit, kind of like you guys did. So, if you want to join my team, you want to be in Florida, then come on down, send me a message. Right now it's just me. But I will be walking proudly for my grandmother and everybody else who is battling this just nasty disease.
Now, you do know the day before we have hundreds, thousands of people in Orlando.
Sir, yes, I do.
At the convention. Yes,
sir, I do.
So you probably should start promoting that amongst the group, eh?
Yes, sir.
Canadian now? Holy moly. Filipino Canadian, eh?
I was going to say, when did you move to Canada?
Oh, Canada. Okay. But anyway, so the wonderful thing about this, and like we have to have some joy and some humor because it's a serious subject. It scares the heck yesterday and tomorrow out of people once you realize what it can do to a family, what it can do to your loved ones. And as a caregiver, the caregivers, I mean, what respite do you get? How do you get time away from mom and dad? How do you sneak those moments away, or do you have additional help, or what?
My brother and sister-in-law do come over on the weekends. Also, I'm out of town right now. I'm not with my parents, but I'm in Alexandria, Virginia. Had a family emergency, so I'm here for 2 weeks, and my sister-in-law and brother are taking care of my parents. It is one of those things where I'm still trying to learn to navigate this. This is, I came in headstrong. this is what's going to happen. I'm going to do all these things. I had to learn that my parents do not want to be parented by their child,
Right.
which was kind of a kick in the gut because I'm trying to do the best for you.
Right.
But they're still more cognitive than I believed that they were.
Sure.
So I had to take a step back and, okay, I will do the meds. I will do the appointments. I will watch the day to day. I'll take notes for the medical professionals. I'll go to the appointments. I'll provide the information. And other than that, they maneuver through their meals, except for dinner. That is now my gift. I get to cook. But as for respite, I walk my dog.
Right.
I'm in the stages of trying to get some help.
Sure.
Spoke to my mother's neurologist, who said they're at a stage where they cannot be left alone. And I said, I fully agree with you.
Right.
If there was an emergency overnight during the day, heaven forbid, my dad kind of gets the deer in the headlights. And it is the most terrifying thing to watch my dad. And you say, please go get the phone and dial 911. And he comes back with the phone and says, what do I dial?
Right. Sure.
And it's crushing.
You know, what I found when people would see my sister out in public, and even my mom, because she wasn't with her as much as I was, she would say, oh, Sharon's doing great. And I have other people, oh, Sharon's doing great. They didn't know. By all appearances, yes, they are. And you know what? I found out that she would fake it if someone would come up and say hi to her, like she knew them. She'd fake it,
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is nothing wrong. The answer is I'm fine.
Right.
And when it comes to my mom, my mom is considered legally blind and has a little tiny bit of vision in her left eye that has stage 4 glaucoma.
Oh.
And so you add that on top of this and the
Sure.
stress of watching her husband decline.
Yes.
Getting confused and getting frustrated because she
Right.
can't see it, she can't read it, she can't write it.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of different things out there to assist me. It's me finding the time in between trying to have a life, trying to be the best person I can be. And I think the neurologist was right in this case. My mother does want to start on the protocol. She wants to clear it through her doctor, which is next week or the week after. My dad thinks it's a bunch of hooey and is not interested.
Right.
I can only, I'm a praying woman, so I can only pray for my dad that he'll change his mind.
Yeah. One thing I found out that my mother didn't understand this. Okay. She didn't quite understand how the disease went. If they do something wrong, you don't shame them. You just humor them. And my mom didn't understand that. And she tried to force my sister to do stuff she couldn't do. And then my sister would just get angry and start crying because she couldn't do it. And my mom didn't understand that, but you have to humor them,
You also have to pick your battles.
Yep.
I have to shut down a lot of conversation. Okay, I hear you. I understand you. But I'm done talking in this moment. I need to step away now. Because the going in a circle only confuses them more, frustrates them, angers them more. It doesn't do any of us any good.
Exactly.
Yep. My mom will go, when asked, they'll go, she gets questioned about the 10 of us and stuff. And it gets to me, well, I don't like it, but I'll do what he says, kind of a thing. And we have a power structure where I'm the oldest. And so in our family, being the patriarch actually means something. But then we have one of the brothers is a doc, so he counts 2. So, we have kind of a ladder or a tree of how hierarchy, I guess that's what I want to use in terms of that. But, the 10 of us, we live in 8 different states, including Hawaii, Alaska, and Florida. California and Alabama and South Dakota, and mom's in Illinois, and I live here because I couldn't roll out of the cabin 30 years ago, and so we're in Illinois, and that's where it's going to be, and that's fine. But it is. I kind of can imagine your situation, Jennifer, in having two, because that one time I actually refereed my mom and her mom, and her mom, my grandmother, lived to 100 something, like 100 and whatever, and Aunt Lois lived 103 or 106. But grandmother moved. Grandmother moved herself to a nursing home. George, you move me? I go, where? I want to go to this home. Where do you want to go over there? Well, because all my friends were there. So she moves over there. She was the only one she was the only ambulatory one in the whole wing, and she was totally cognitive. And then they raised the rent like $500, and we haven't even talked about costs. But we raised the rent. She says, Georgie, would you move me back where? I go, I'm going to move in with your mom. I go, does mom know that? And so then I got to be a referee a little bit. And mom would literally make a menu for grandmother to pick from every day. Here's what you could have for these. And it was never right. And it was never made right. And grandmother didn't have any dementia or Alzheimer's. She just had Henri. And it was her daughter. It was her daughter trying to do stuff, and so I got to be the referee between those two. It was a love affair, but they had to be separated eventually. So, but yeah, and then financial, my goodness gracious. I mean, it is more and more expensive to do less and less, isn't it? I mean, you've got two you're taking care of. Do you get away to do the shopping still? Is it, you're still okay to be able to do that, or you shop online and you have food delivered, or how do you do the basics?
Well, funny you should ask that. The days that my brother and sister-in-law come over on the weekends, I make every online order I can, and they're all pickup orders. There's one store I go into because their costs are a little bit exponential, and I'm not interested. But I will go and, okay, I've got a 2-hour window. I might go fit in my self-care. I'll do my facial. I'll do my massage. I'll do my toes, whatever it is I'm going to do in that hour. And then I'm going to go do all of my pickup orders. So we're talking about 3-4 hours. And when they come to the house and, my sister-in-law will cook dinner, my brother will watch the game with my dad, I will go sit outside. I'll go on walks with my dog. I don't really talk to anybody. I just kind of remove myself because it's the only time I can just really sit and just be with myself and watch a movie if I want to. And I'm not giving eye drops. I'm not giving medication. I'm not making sure everybody's coordinated or preparing a meal. And, it's definitely, I did not know what I was signing up for. My parents had asked and had said they're very clear they don't want to live in the home. But like that neurologist said, I think, I would like for them, I would hope for them that they would want to make that decision on their own. Sure. When they're still able to make the decision before, their right is taken away.
Right. Yeah. That's
so
hard. That's a hard one.
Yeah, and it really is. It's so hard because my mom's like, I don't know what to say. Right. Maybe you should talk to him. And I said, you've been married over 50 years. I'm very confident that you can at least open the door to the conversation. And if you need backup, I will definitely start. My dad does little spurts. So if I catch him before noon, that is a really good time. He's really on the ball. And I just, have you considered, this might actually be better. You don't have a lot of socialization right now.
Right.
You're kind of a hermit. It would really help.
Sure.
If you talk to people, talk about your finance job that you were in all those years. Mom likes to be social, and she'll admit to you, I'm feeling down. I don't know how to process all this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get them off the wheel while I'm trying to get myself off the wheel.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
So
it's hard.
And now what you know about the protocol, how is your mom's health in and of itself? How is her metabolic health?
Let's see, for a nice term, it's down the toilet.
Okay, she's doing that well. Okay.
My mother has dealt with lots of things over the years. She's got diverticulitis, she's got colitis, she's got irritable bowel syndrome, migraine headaches, the cognitive impairment. If it's literally, George, if it's not one thing, it's something else.
Okay.
There is a large abundance, is probably the nicest term I could use, for the amount of pills she takes a day. I told her about the protocol. She's the first thing she tells her friends, aside from, the bonus for me, since my goal was not to, maybe lose a couple pounds, wasn't goal related, like weight related. The first thing she says is, doesn't she look good? She lost so much weight. And look at her mood. She's not as bossy. Thanks,
cute.
Mom.
Perfect. Yeah, you do. I saw you a month and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
And your face is smoother and thinner now than it was. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
It just is.
I appreciate you noticing. I like to know that it's not just the weight that people see that came off, that maybe my personality is shining more, George.
There you go.
Fangirl coming out.
You have a glow. You do have a glow.
I feel good about myself for the first time in almost 30 years.
Yeah.
I've actually put on a bathing suit. That is a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And I was in a public setting, so it wasn't just I put it on for myself. I feel more alive.
Yeah.
I'm
excited for you because you told me some of your history, and we're not going to go into that, but
right.
You shared very openly, and I'm really proud. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you this later. But the whole thing is that what we want and what we're trying to do to help everybody with this call is to say, look, there's some hope. It is a real deal, and care is a real thing. But we want you to know that even if the protocol, what we do, the very simplest, easiest things that we do help. Little things matter. Little things make big things. And even if you don't get on the protocol, if you just say you don't get on the protocol, stop eating 6 times a day.
Yes.
Stop eating snacks. Keeping your metabolism high is a lie. It's a lie. Period in the story. Even this last week, I'll get to this video. I don't know if you saw the video, but even Robert Kennedy just came out yesterday, and there is a medical school reform going on now. He announced this.
I heard about that.
Yeah. Yep. And they're going to demand that the changes medical, even on the MCAT, the entrance exam, there's going to be a section on nutrition. See, guys, your docs, God love them. They work their yesterdays and tomorrows off, but they have pretty much by admission 0 education on metabolic health and nutrition. Look at the advice we get. Fat makes you fat. Lie. Move more, eat less. Well, you can get that. You can get that on the back of a comic book. I mean, come on. Eat snacks to keep your metabolism high. That's crap from the food industry. Everything they prescribe to you is for a symptom that's caused by food, which increases your insulin resistance. It's all combined together. And type 3, if you don't know, type 3 diabetes is Alzheimer's. You've heard of type 1. That's when the pancreas doesn't put out enough or any, but it's not dead. Otherwise, they take it out. It's still there. It's just not functioning at a high enough capacity. That's type 1. There's 1.5 where you have that plus you're type 2 diabetic. Then there's type 2 diabetes, and that's 100% insulin resistance. That is 100% reversible. 100% reversible. Let me say it one more time. How much is it reversible? 100% reversible. Okay,
100%, George.
Thank you very much. I didn't want to repeat myself, but it's 100% reversible. Anyway, and then there's type 3, and type 3 is now understood as Alzheimer's. It's too much sugar, too much glucose, and it's not that just too much in a meal, it's too high a frequency. It's the frequency that's creating the chaos. So if you ate 2 big meals a day, yahoo! We would recommend if you did it, you had some fiber with it. Or if you're going to not be on the protocol, just F off. I mean, that's fast, order of food, fiber, fat, and protein. That's the F off system. Okay?
That was beautiful, George. Well delivered.
Well, by the way, I know that protein starts with a P, but I'm Filipino and we don't say Filipino, we say Filipino. So that's why that's fat, fiber, and protein. They're all F's, okay? Yes, I am crazy. Moderately, occasionally.
Aren't we all?
My golly, we are. But I can still park my car straight. I can still know where my keys are. I'm not putting the remote control in the refrigerator. I mean, I can joke about it. But those are things. We start forgetting things. If we start losing our conversation in the middle of the conversation, if we get lost in the conversation, we start a conversation and then walk away because we don't remember what we were talking about. You know, those types of start withdrawing from the those are signs that things are happening to yourself and or others. So those are some warning signs. But the real thing is we want you to go away with this call tonight, guys, that there's hope.
Absolutely.
And if you know Jennifer and you love Jennifer, because who doesn't love Jennifer? You love Jennifer, right? You love Jennifer. So is the fact that then get a hold of her and learn about the protocol. Okay, get on her page, she can get you hooked up on that. If you're in Boca Raton on November 9th, my birthday, celebrate my birthday because I'm hoping I'm on a boat. So I might be on a boat. If I'm not
yes. Okay, I will allow you to go on that boat.
If I'm not on the boat, I'm with you. But you should be on the boat too, so that I don't know who's going to do your walk. But anyway, November 9th in Boca Raton. Walk for Jennifer's grandmother. Her name was Helen. Was it Helen?
Helen Robinson.
Helen Robinson. So take a walk for Helen Robinson and Alzheimer's. And if you know me, run. No, but if you know me and you'd like to get on the protocol, just message me and we'll look to help you with that. Guys, we're going to be on Sundays and Thursdays. Jennifer, look forward to anytime you can. We're going to be this time, and sorry I didn't have the microphone working because the computer and we just argued a minute or two.
It's okay. I was just talking away.
There you go. And you did great. Anything you want to say to close the event out?
If you guys haven't heard this protocol before, it's great stuff. And I'm on it. I feel better. I sleep much better. I was one of these that would wake up at 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And by the time I was ready to go back to sleep, it's time to get up. And I snored. He tells me I snored.
Apparently I did in a past
life too. And I don't anymore.
Yeah, see, I'm a ninja sleeper. I don't make any noise. I don't really probably move much. But now she doesn't no more. So she's a ninja sleeper. Are you a ninja sleeper now too? Are you getting?
I am. I actually was on Lunesta for 16 years, and I'm 2 or 3 weeks off now.
Sweet, congratulations!
And I sleep like the clock. Like this is late for me right now. It's 10 o'clock where I am, so I'm like, I gotta get my Z's.
Yeah. Me too.
So guys, and everybody watching, thank you very much. We love you, Jennifer. I'll see you tomorrow on the call.
Thank
And
you
meet
for
you,
having me,
Jen.
guys.
all right, we'll see you guys. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.